I'll just have to confirm.
Wait,
Good afternoon. If you can see us before I can see us.
I think
We are. Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to day 37 of my 50 days of Facebook Live. And I'm just gotta change the privacy here and make this public. All right, so you guys will notice that I have a guest on here, special guest. As much as I've been doing this every day on my own, it's so much more fun when you have a partner and you get to do this in team. And so I have invited the lovely Rachel Painter. She's in the UK, and I know Rachel Painter through Emerging Profits. Have you been in EP for, is it two years?
I think it's two and a
2
bit.
years? Two and
Yeah.
a bit. Yeah, I'm like 3.5, almost 4 years. And so yeah, so I guess I mostly met Rachel through the prophetic gift training class
Yeah.
where I've been coaching in there for about a year and a half, and Rachel has, been a student in the master class and just really love what she carries and just the real like love of God and just such a purity in her prophetic flow. And absolutely love that God gave her the name Rachel Painter, and she is a painter. Like, so
Yeah. He made that just perfect, didn't he?
like, isn't that perfect? Oh, it's funny. And I'm wearing roses today, and I'm Jenny Rose. So, you know, this
Yeah.
is it's funny. Names are important. I'm just gonna say hello to some of you guys. We got some more EPers on here. We have Nathan Bontrager, hello, hello from Colorado, and Gloria Narija from Peru, Charity Go from Sarnia, Ontario. Dylan Merritt is here in Ontario and Peterborough. And yeah, if anybody else is tuning in, just comment, let us know where you're from. And so we're going to chat a little bit, but we're going to do some prophetic ministry at the end because I love Rachel's got such a beautiful gift of encouragement. You guys all know that I love to prophesy as well. So we're going to bless you guys. And if you can think of a friend who just needs a little bit of encouragement and might be blessed, or maybe you know someone who is prophetic and yet has not found their place of impact yet, because we're going to talk a little bit about that too. So tag your friends and stick with us. So yeah, so Rachel, thanks so much for being here.
It's
And so one of the things we talk about in Emerging Prophets is all about really about us finding our place of impact.
Mm.
And God's going to bless this internet connection.
Oh,
Guys, you have to let me know how it's going because I'm seeing like some freezing and lagging, but this is so good. We're just going to go with it and we'll just keep it light and we'll laugh. And if I'm talking over Rachel or not creating some pain,
overlap and gaps.
yes. There really is an awkward delay as we're coming across the Atlantic. So, but you know what? This is so good. I always have like I've always kind of had a heart for the UK and just English people. I don't know. It's just been a thing. And so yeah, Rachel, why don't you share a little bit about yourself and your prophetic art and yeah, whatever you feel.
Yes, I mean, like all things, it's been a journey, a lifelong journey. So I've always been an artist. My creativity has always kind of come out in various ways. Whether I would have said I am an artist confidently, I think there's definitely been points where I've run away from it for all sorts of different reasons. But for me, in EP, there's a phrase where it talks about following the favor. And as I'm sitting here now, like I'll look back, and even as a child, there was such favor on me with art just in school and the opportunities that would come around, or like my in the UK we have GCSE and A levels. That's like 15, 16, 17-year-olds at school, and just being allowed to explore kind of wildly in my art. And it was at that point that I began to realize that God was speaking to me through my art. Like that was like a huge like door opening time for me. So whilst all my classmates were being told what they had to do, my art teacher just let me explore wildly. And I look back at that and go, that was a lot of favor, much to the annoyance of my classmates. Um, but yeah, so it was always my dream at that point to become an artist. Um, life happened. I made some decisions. Um, I kind of weirdly lost the ability to paint and to draw, and my life went into a slightly different trajectory. You probably say I was under a lot of disappointment, and
Yeah.
but what happened is I then for so I'm 34 now, and my 20s was very much I was getting everyone else creative because it was just in
Mhm.
me. Like our gifts are just in us, aren't they?
Mhm.
So over my 20s, I was running lots of community-based creative projects, getting people to be playful. Um, yeah, because that's what creativity is about, really. It's enjoyment and the
Mhm.
play and the expression of what's inside of you. And I was so into that and getting that in other people, and then realized it's a very big moment, about 27, 28, another pivotal moment, um, more favor, I guess. Again, it was another time of disappointment. Lots of things were going on, huge season shift. And my now husband said, it's still a dream for you to be an artist, isn't it? And I was suddenly like this moment of like the veil just suddenly like went and was like, oh my gosh, like I am doing everything but being creative myself.
Mm.
So that was about 27, 28. And profession I'm now a professional artist, so like just
Yeah.
the creativity thread has run throughout my life, but right now I'm a professional artist, so I have an art business, and the growth for me from about 27 is, Rachel, you are an entrepreneur, you can be an artist. And yeah, so it's like the a very quick whistle stop tour really of, and there's very much of God bringing back the dreams, reigniting dreams, um, where maybe I may have missed it. Um,
Yeah.
Disappointment recovery, he's all into
Mm.
that. And
Yes.
then actually giving me something and going, Rachel, you can build, you can make something, you can, um, and he can use that, he can run through business, the marketplace, like there's so much there that I've been learning over the last 5 years. And it's been amazing. It's probably been one of the favorite sections, I think, of my life, actually, the last 5 years.
That's
So
so
there we go.
good.
Whistle stop tour.
I love that. I love that. And even just what you're saying about like, it was in you at an early age, but there was even that season where like you like couldn't paint, like where it gets shut down. And even, that happens for a lot of people, both with the prophetic and also with creativity. Because
Mm.
often with the prophetic, it's like we have these God-given gifts inside of us that can get shut down for times and seasons, or we just put it away because we're scared of it or we don't understand it. But then creativity, and like I think I have a lot more artistic and creativity inside of me that is so not tapped.
Oh, yeah.
I had
That's
a small,
exciting.
like, little season of inner healing and I started to draw. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can draw. Where did that come from? It's like often the creativity is so shut down in our childhood and in our young
Yeah.
years. And I love that, like, you had a teacher who had the wisdom to be like, ah, Rachel, like, this is a gift. Like, express yourself. Like, what can you create? And just like fully embrace it rather than trying to be like, no, you need to fit in this time, sort of stream or curriculum. I love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Yeah, you just got to let yourself run wild, and it's giving yourself one permission to do that, which for me, it's all
Mm.
I'm always on this massive like thing of trying to express really what grace is rather than just the sentence kind of this is what grace is, but like grace is just so huge. And I always come back to it being like wide open spaces, and creativity just opens you up to grace and wide open, that sense of wide open space. And I know for me initially I was like, I don't like this wide open space feeling, like I feel like a cat on hot bricks. But I guess for me creativity has been that place where like in EP, I feel like they've got this from EP, but like the whole settle, and like from that place you begin to, because I mean creativity is like 100% obviously God's idea. And even people who do not believe are experiencing God when they
Yeah.
create. Like it's his source. The Holy Spirit is his creative powerhouse. So like for me, kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, it's all yeah, you're experiencing something.
Yeah.
You're touching heaven, whether you believe or not. That's what I love, that intersection of how
Yeah.
creativity can be.
And I love what you're just saying about that, like almost like the wide open spaces and almost the hesitation to like step in. Because
Yeah.
I think it's like, even thinking for myself, how like I can be a very structured and like routine and like consistent kind of person. And sometimes it's like our structures, they're meant to serve us, but then, they can become our prison. And I think that it's kind of a message in what God is saying in this season, because there's areas in my life where I'm losing some of the predictability of some structures that I thought were in place. And it's the invitation into the wide open spaces
Yeah.
to come out
Absolutely.
into this place of like expansion. That's what it is.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm totally with you. Most people think of artists as being like wild and crazy and not. And I'm very left and right brained, which there can be some conflict there. But I know for when you were talking, I just kind of had this picture of, like a climbing clematis flower. Like,
Mm.
I do some teaching. So like creativity and it's yeah, there's skill based, but actually you've got to allow yourself to play. You've got to give your permission to play and explore. But yeah, it's just that the structure and the things that you need, like we do need that like a skeleton, but actually if that's all you're seeing, like that's
Yeah.
one possibly a little dull. But but yeah, like the clematis, the flower, the organic, the growth, the
Yeah.
beauty, um,
Yeah.
that's what that hangs on, like a loose structure. It's kind of what
Mhm.
I thought. And creativity is like that, I think. Um, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
that's really cool. Yeah, yeah, I love this, and I love that you're fully, embracing like who God has created you to be, and that like you as an artist, that's one of the ways that you like receive from God and you hear from God and you get revelation, and God, speaks to you through lighting and shadow and like what you're seeing in the picture. And so it's like, my passion as a prophet trainer, prophetic equiper is really to help people discover all the myriad and multitude of ways that they hear from God and can receive revelation. Because, guys, the prophetic is way more simple than you think. It is, this is why I demonstrate, demonstrate, demonstrate. We can all do this, but it's just like, it's not like, oh, I need to learn how to hear God like this person or prophesy like that person, but it's like, how does God speak to me? How do I express? Because we all know in part and see in part. And so Rachel and I are very different. Like we're very different in like she's, creative explosion over there. I'm still kind of in a healthcare world coming into like, I'm getting into entrepreneurship, but it's still essential oils. It's still like natural health, but it's like different ends, but it's like, but we're different, but we're both very powerful and prophetic in discovering like, okay, how does God, how does he speak to us? How does he give us downloads and insights? And how do we express it to the world? And like, because our prophetic gifts are not for the blessing of ourselves, they're for the building up of the body. And so it's like, how do you express your prophetic and whatever that looks like in a
Mm,
way, for other people?
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, how God can bless it. It's like a journey and an adventure just discovering that. I don't think he shows you it all right away, does he? Like there's like a step out, have a go at expressing this, and then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this can happen. And then it just all begins to open
Yeah.
out. It's that whole wide open space thing that I keep coming back
Yeah.
round to. Um, yeah, you just keep edging your way in one step
Yeah.
at a time.
Or,
And you
jump
discover
in
more.
with 2 feet, fail at something, and then back off, and then jump in again. And then-
Yeah, or try the fit of so I saw something recently about like David and trying on Saul's armor. And
Mm,
actually he tried it and he was
yeah.
like, nah. And like it's okay to like have a go at trying something on and being like, nope. that's not for me. Like there's that scripture, isn't there? God doesn't put anything ill-fitting on you.
Mm,
It's okay to like test it out and
yeah.
yeah.
I love that. I love that because you know what I think um like globally we're in a time of like prophetic reform where God is really like shifting the landscape. Like the prophetics had, a good strong start, but he's shifting some things. And I think um what this part of this reformation too is going to be about like introducing so many different expressions and types and the fullness of our personality and creativity and like bringing instead of because we've had Saul's armor, we've had this one like and it and it's the Sunday morning pulpit or the itinerant minister, and so and there's nothing wrong with either of that. When I knew I was prophetic, I was like, oh, I look at my prophetic mentor, Patricia Bootsma. Okay, she's a pastor in a church and she's an itinerant minister. So that must be what I'm called to do.
Yeah,
This is what the prophet is.
it's the
But
parameter.
God's like, no, like you can be that, but like what has he created for you to wear? What are your mantles? What is funny? He keeps talking to me about he gave me a dream that I was going to fashion school. And I'm so not a fashion person, but I feel like it's connected to this message of like helping people to learn how to dress, how to wear, because we're not all in the same uniform. We all need to like find our own style and our own design and our own expression and
Mhm.
embrace all the different elements of like what God has like, put in us so that we can be authentically us and not try and be a cookie cutter of someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, my mind went straight to like our expression is so tied to our experience, like our experience. And when you said that, I was like, oh, it's all linked with our story and our testimony. Like it's just another way, like the way you share your testimony is an expression, like that's creative. But
Mm.
yeah, just in terms of like your journey, I don't know everything about your journey, but like what brought you here and how you, I love the clothing people and showing people how to wear and
Mhm.
like I don't know, there's that forming, isn't there, of helping someone figure out what's gone on in them, what's happening or has
Yeah.
happened in their story, and then helping them to actually be like, this is who I am, wear it confidently. And
Yeah.
I don't know, you get like models, don't you? Just
Yeah.
pushing on for like model, and then you've got people that's teaching models how to model down a catwalk. Like, kind of see you a bit like that. Like you're showing people how to, walk
Yeah.
confidently.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that.
Expression.
Yeah. So my internet is a little unstable. So if you guys are watching on Facebook and I'm freezing, but we're still here. So, praise God. This is
Yeah,
good.
I've enjoyed the conversation.
And but I loved what you said, Rachel, too, just about like, we all have our own unique experiences and things that we walk through. And you refer to like, seasons of like disappointment where, things happened and then things got shut down or, you struggled in through that. But each and every one of us, we have those things. Like we have those seasons of disappointments, we have the traumas, we have the things we had to overcome. And it's like when we submit to the Lord the process, get the healing, and come through on the other side, like these then become like badges of like authority, like things that we are clothed in. And that it's like, because we've walked this certain journey that now, we get to carry and minister to different and unique people because of the places of pain that we walk through. And, and it's like, because we always say this in emerging prophets, like, um, it's like prophets are all about congruency. We're not like teachers who are really good at just teaching ideas and concepts and theory. We need to be like we're congruent because we are the message. We
Mhm.
don't just teach and preach a theoretical message, but we are the message and we live it. And so this is where, you know, I mean, you're either gonna love me or you're gonna hate me because like I'm like just so transparent and like sometimes to a fault. But it's like what you see with me is what you get. Like I couldn't fake it if my life depended on it because
No, that's
it's
a good
just
thing.
like the congruency and the like authenticity. And it's just like, it's just this is our message. And this is really, even in that, this is what empowers people and inspires them. And yeah.
Yeah, it gives people like a touch point with you. They're like, oh yeah, I resonate with that. And it's just like a complete open door to like it's coming back to that story piece, that experience that you've had in your story, and it kind of just weaves seamlessly. Like for me, I guess as an art professional, like that's something that I love to do with my paintings. I've got an unfinished one there, but there's always a story behind it. And it's because we're the message and I'm the message, it's always linked to something that God's either has done or I'm sometimes still processing. And I know we've spoken about it, like how to share that message.
Yeah.
And it's for a lot of it's through, for me, it's through storytelling and or poetry. Poetry seems to have come out of the woodwork, which I'm really enjoying. Um, but yeah, it's kind
Yeah.
of woven in there. It's like the intent for me as a painter. It's the intent of what I'm painting in that kind of space when I'm with God. It's a worshipful experience most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time it is. Um, yeah, and it's that intent, is the expression and the experiences that I carry that will go, I believe, into the brushwork, into the painting, and my prayer continually is that God would speak through that.
Mhm.
It's our story, our expression. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
love that. I love that. And I really love, I feel like there's a kingdom message that God has asked me to carry about prophetic. He's asking me to marry prophetic and entrepreneurship. Like this is a big part, and just this whole kingdom entrepreneurship as well. And so
Mhm.
what I really love about Rachel, like, I mean, there's lots of you guys who probably do art and maybe you sketch or you do all kinds of things, but it's like the Lord has really led her to be able to do this professionally and in a way where it's what the Bible says, he's given us the power to create wealth. And so it's like, what a good daddy that he's given her gifts and skills, abilities, things she's passionate about. And she has been able to like, marry it together in a way that it can create provision for her and her husband. And this is what it's about. Like, this is, that's abundant life, like not having to slug it away for 40 hours a week at a job that you can barely stand. Like, and God bless you if you have to do that. Sometimes we have our times and seasons where we just have to do that, and, God will give us the grace. But I just love that, like, she has this beautiful, like, you know, expression, the thing that she gets to do professionally that is just so fully her and brings her alive and is like, and she's just getting started. Like,
Yeah,
she,
I still feel at the beginning.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's so beautiful. I love that.
I was just thinking as you said, I have definitely had my stint of doing jobs where I'm like, oh, it just feels like a bit of a slugfest. And I read this week, it just came into my head as you said it. Oh, it's talking about like wealth. If it's all in Proverbs, wealth that comes quickly quite often will like off it flies super quickly. So easy come, easy go. And actually, sometimes I think in the perseverance of things, even when it's not how you want it to look, um, actually there's like in the waiting, like when what you, I
Yeah,
guess there's the thing that maybe you're dreaming of. Well, I guess I'm speaking work-wise here
yeah.
is that it, if it was an easy come in, it might be a sticker when it arrives, like it will stick around. It's not easy come, easy go,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
something that will stick around. Yeah.
yeah. It really just tests the perseverance, like
Mm.
when you're going after it. Like, yeah, so you're in a nice space now where, but
Yeah,
you didn't just get there.
no,
Yes.
it didn't just happen, but there was a leap as well, like
Yeah.
a gap of, am I gonna? It was linked. My husband Sam was like, "Is it's still a dream for you to be an artist?" And then this sudden realization and circumstances at the time were like, it was like a carpet rug moment, lots of things happening, which were out of my control. Um, so it was like a big open door to be like, okay, I'm going to say yes to this thing and just see what happens. And I think deep down, I always knew it was to be professional, to have a business, because business was something that I was so afraid of. My dad ran a business. I was had a front row seat to watching what business can be like and the ups and the downs and the.
Yeah.
So I was always like, I said I would never do it. Just never,
Oh,
never say never. Because every time I've said never, it's happened.
yeah. So
But
you're
yeah,
making a vow to do it.
yeah. But I mean, to be honest, actually, I love being an artist in business. I think just it it gives you a place for my art to serve people. Like even in my marketing, which I've had some time away from marketing, it's been quite a peaceful, restful year that God's given Sam and I 'cause we recently got married. Um, but I'm now starting to hit the go button on the marketing again. But when I was marketing, like it was just such an opportunity to release the expression with like words or like weaving that storytelling. And I love it. I love like figuring out who my ideal client is or like working. I've slowly built up some galleries. It all started online for me. And then I got some galleries began approaching me and I enjoy like getting to know the people and like even just building my email list, just I won't go too businessy, but like I really enjoy like staying in contact with the people that I meet at art fairs and they're all really good little opportunities and sowing seeds and yeah, it's very much a part of me. It's not just me painting like on my own and I
Yeah.
love that and I need that and that is like at the core for
Yeah.
me as an artist, but actually having outflows for that. Um, I enjoy that. And I'm definitely at a moment where that is like, I think pivoting and I'm recalibrating and thinking how I want to do that going forwards. But
Yeah.
yeah, 5 years of building those like infrastructure of my business, the structure,
Yeah.
a bit of structure. I've really enjoyed and I've seen it as like an act of serving as well. It doesn't have to be like business is separate from like ministry.
Yeah.
Um, a good friend of mine calls businessry.
Business.
Business and ministry. It's my businessry.
No.
Which, yeah, I really
I
enjoy
love
that
it.
section.
I love that. I love that. And yeah, like starting a business is not for the faint of heart. It's, and I mean, how many of you guys watching there, you started a business, you thought you'd, join one of these, thinking it was a get rich, quick. And then after a couple months, you realized, oh, you don't actually earn money unless you work. And you're like, oh, this isn't for me. But it's really having a business really develops grit and it
Yeah.
develops, if anything, it will build your like do self-development and build your character, you'll get all the personal growth opportunities that you need. Having a business will show you all of the areas that, you can get poked, and realize how
Yes.
bad your rejection issues are and your fear of failure and your fear of success.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's so true.
yeah, yeah, it really is, because we can stay comfortable. And this has been my journey too. Like, you become an expert. For me, it was in ultrasound, which I still do a couple days a week. But it's like you get really comfortable and you can be an expert in one area. But then
Mm.
when God calls you, hey, I want you to come over here into the entrepreneur and do something creative and it's like, oh, but I feel like, an expert over here. Why do you want me to go to kindergarten and start over there?
Yeah. So, like
But
start fresh.
yeah, I feel like though this is a message too for this time and season because I
Mm.
don't care who you are watching, each and every one of you should have your own business. Every one of you should have your own business. This is a time where everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, needs to have a side gig because things are going to be they're so rapidly changing with technology and advancements and things that are going on there. I heard it estimated that something like 40% of the jobs that are out there now are not expected to even be there in 10 years because things are so rapidly shifting and changing. And so it's like in this entrepreneurship in this business, this is kind of like a stepping in and saying like, okay, I'm not going to be a victim to the curve and a victim to the changes of the time, but I'm going to take my God-given talent and potential And I'm
Mm.
going to like partner with that truth that says like he's given us the power to create wealth and start to, you know, explore and, different things for different people. But yeah,
Really. And start small. I don't know.
yeah,
I think it's in us prophetic people where we like see this and I'm like already building things like it's 10 years down the line. It's like, Rachel, you're at this point. Like, just, yeah, I think if anyone's considering making the leap to pursue building, so it doesn't have to be overtly creative, although I think building a business is creative.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think just start small and follow the favor. I was saying, I felt like that's a key thing. Follow the favor.
Mm,
Um, Try something on if it doesn't work. Like
yeah.
oh, my artist business mentor, Matt Tommy, he's quite well known. He's a Christian, thriving Christian artist podcast. If you're an artist and you're interested in this space, he's amazing. But he's always like test and measure, try it on, see
Mm,
if it worked. If it doesn't, no big deal. Like, and God's always with you to give you ideas. Like, try and just capture all the ideas and just pick one.
yeah.
And just
Yeah.
start small and
Yeah.
things grow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good. That's really good because I think sometimes we get so overwhelmed. Like,
Mm.
I think sometimes people get so overwhelmed with the vastness of things that they'd never start because
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, well, it's just too much. It's, and it overwhelms them. And it's like, no, like, just look at the first step in front of you.
Yeah, look at the one thing. Like I think it's great to dream, and I'm a dreamer.
Yeah.
And especially when you marry it with faith, you're like, of course that's possible with God, and of course it is. But then you're like, there's that gap between where you are now and what you're seeing like far out, and there's a whole wealth of like inner stuff that God I think does in us to get us to that point. And right now, you're probably not quite there to handle what you're kind of currently seeing. So like following the one thing that's
Yeah.
like directly in front of you, I think that's the secret sauce, really. Follow the one thing, follow the
Yeah.
favor, and he will. And he,
Yeah.
he will surprise you. I've had a lot of surprises where I'm like, where did that come from? And you're like, oh, there's something in that. I'll follow that. That's the next step. And
Absolutely.
yeah, it's been my journey. I've yeah, being the organized planner that I think I've become less like that, but that is still very much in me. I love a good strategy. I love strategy. Um, yeah, I think just because I can't always see the way to get to what I'm seeing, not every step, I've had to learn to surrender control and just be in the moment, which is hard sometimes.
It is. You gotta
Mm.
love those gaps in the vision.
Oh
Because
yeah.
sometimes you do
Not the
know,
one.
something's in 10 years or 20 years, and it's like, well, can I just reverse engineer like, backwards? He's like, no,
Yeah,
start
no.
here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the faith part, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, even just like Joseph, in Emerging Prophets, we always use Joseph as the example of
Yeah.
the climbing the mountain of destiny, gets the big dream, the big vision of his
Yeah.
call to greatness, and then he's thrown into the pit, because he wasn't the person yet that he needed to be sustained in that place. And so sometimes it's like we step in, and I did this when I first stepped into entrepreneurship 5 years ago. I just stepped in and I was so insecure and I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm no good at this. This is such a failure. Like I'm not a salesperson. I'm like, and I was like, oh, like, but it revealed all this insecure yuck stuff that needed to get healed and like
Yeah.
removed out. I was like, oh, I have rejection issues. I take it personally. Every time somebody says no, they don't want to buy essential oils, I take it as like they don't like me, and it was like, okay, like you can't be this person here.
Mm.
And so it's like God invites us into these opportunities that are sometimes so uncomfortable. And so yeah, no, we're not qualified. We're not ready because it's the process he wants to bring us through,
Yeah.
the becoming. And he's not all about like, when you get there, I'll be proud of you. When you're the successful this,
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
it's not about that. He's like, walk with me in the process and trust me,
Yeah.
even in the uncertainty, even in the insecurity.
Mm.
do it afraid. How
Hmm.
much courage can you muster up to do the things that terrify you and that you don't think you're able to do, and do it afraid? Because the fear won't always stay. I used to be afraid of doing Facebook Lives. And now, like, it's day
Give that up.
37. And
Yeah.
it's just, but it's him. And he gives you the grace
Mm.
and the strength. He's given me such a grace for this. I have to tell you guys, it's him. It's
Mm.
him. Sometimes I'll come to do a Facebook Live and I'm like, I am done. Like, I am depleted. Jenny has nothing left to give. She's a little bit grumpy. She just had a whatever. She's tired. Maybe my stomach was upset. And it's like, and I step in and God is just like, and he just meets me. And it's not that I'm so whatever or creative or eloquent or so amazing, but like I step in faith to what he's called me to do, and he meets me and he shows up. And then, sometimes he makes you look good too, which is, Holy Spirit's just so kind. Yeah.
Yeah, get wowed by his goodness right in the middle of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. Well, this is flying. So we're going to pivot a little bit. We're already 40 minutes in. I don't know how that happened. Um, we're going to do a little bit of prophetic ministry. This has been so much fun, Rachel. I loved
I
chatting
know.
with you. We could probably chat for another hour easily. All right, so I'm going to say hello to some of you guys, and if you have not commented for the last little while, just drop a comment so that we can see who Holy Spirit is highlighting. And hello again, Nathan Bontrager, Jana Jacobs from South Africa. We also have Nadine Klopper from South Africa. Oh, look, we got Rachel Painter from the UK is on here now.
Funny that.
Dina from Florida. And Jean Babel. Welcome, welcome. So good to see you guys. Julianne August. Love you, lady. So glad to have you on here. Yeah, Julianne is launching her podcast on February 11th in 2 days, Overcoming Digital Distraction. So, this is Julianne's courageous risk-taking step, her next level of advancement and expansion. Words just got really hard for a second there.
I'd be interested in that. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
I
All
don't
right.
know who's
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna, yeah. Sorry, I'm just scrolling for a second. Awkward. I apologize for the awkward second or awkward silence. I'm just looking to see who I feel is highlighted to me. Hello, Diane Wallace. Good to see you. And Tina Marie Hansel. Okay, Nathan Bontrager. Nathan, Nathan. Hmm. I just heard the Lord say, get your mountain climbing gear on because he has an unexpected trip for you up the mountain. And so it's like I actually see him bringing some things that you thought were farther out in the distance as far as the your vision for your life and this your ascension of the mountain. I actually saw I don't know, it's like I saw some things that it's almost things that you kind of like you had laid down or kind of pushed out as you were like creating your 5-year plan and just like really um, planning things and considering the stages that your family's in and all of these things. But I actually just saw the Lord bring some of the things that you'd put a few years out, and He's actually pulling them forward. And so I just saw Him pull them forward. And I heard him say, he's saying, you're actually more prepared and it's closer than you think. And so I saw you starting to step into some new things, but he says that there is a grace in this season where you are going to be able to do some things. You're going to find almost like this capacity that you didn't know was in there. It's like this fresh wind, this like fresh energizing that's actually going to, come because in some ways, there's a feeling of like, okay, I'm stretched, I've measured out how much I can do. But I just saw it was like what God is leading you into and bringing into your nail, it's actually not going to take away from any of the other things. So it was just like this added advancement, this added ascension, this added promotion where he's going to open some doors for you to start going up and to start stepping into some of the things that you thought were a little bit farther long term. And I just see like there's a real like excitement on it. And yeah, so I just bless you to step into these things. Yeah, get your hiking gear out because you are ascending to another. It's like you've been on a certain it's like I see you've settled on a certain plateau, a precipice, to take care of some things, but the Lord is like, hey, it's time to go up to the next level. So I just saw that real level up for you, Nathan. Yeah, so awesome. Oh, sorry, that was a little loud. I dropped my phone. All right. I'm going to pass it to you, Rachel. I just froze for a second, but do you have anyone who's highlighted that you think you can?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to butcher your surname, but Gloria Noriga, if I've pronounced her name right. Um, yeah, Gloria, I saw you with a key in a hand, and you're at this huge gargantuan door. It's very heavy and it's metal. I really wanted to describe it for you. And what I see you doing is you've put in the key in the door and you turned it. And it keeps turning and you're turning. And I hear the Lord saying, keep turning, keep turning. Don't tire. I know this is unusual. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. And what I keep seeing and hearing is it's like all these mechanics of this gargantuan door turning. And you just keep turning. You're like, oh gosh, maybe this is the year, maybe this is the time, and another turn. And okay, another turn. Just keep turning because that door is opening. And what happens on the other side of the door is I saw lots of open doors, not like it's a corridor, it's just like door frame, open door frame after open door frame, and you're walking through them. But what I felt was so beautiful about these open doors is that they're doors not just for you. And um, I had this last night, and the Lord said, this person is a turnkey. And I'm like, what's a turnkey? So a turnkey is for old jail, it's an old term for a jailer. And I feel like God's giving you the prison door keys from the jailer to you, and with you turning and turning and turning, and the effort that you have been putting in, God is honoring that, and it is moving things, and the door is opening, and the doors that are opening aren't just for your thing for you to walk through, but actually there is freedom for other people. Like you own the key that opens the door for not just you, but for other people. There were so many open doors on the other side of this huge door. You just keep turning that key. Whatever you're doing right now, whatever you're putting your hand to, keep turning because the door is opening.
That's so good. I love that word for that was Gloria?
Gloria,
Gloria.
there you go, if I pronounced your
And
name.
Gloria, I don't fully remember the word I released to you earlier this week, but I feel like I just prophesied over you a couple days. And I feel like that goes really well with some of the things that I just released over you. So
Okay.
that's awesome. So good. So I'm going to prophesy over, I see a new name, Annie. Annie, is it Neum? Let me know where you're from, Annie. I'm not sure if you've been on any of my broadcasts before. But yeah, Annie, hmm. Man, Annie, I see that the Lord has just done some like incredible, man, he's had you on this incredible journey. And it's like um I see where it's like you've had these different seasons where he has had you encounter him in different parts. It's like, I feel like there was this last season where you were really encountering him as the lamb and Jesus is the good shepherd and he's the lamb and just the love and the softness and that sacrificial kind of love. It's like I see, that you've been in that season of like encountering the Lord in that way. And there are certain things that it's really healed in your heart and has solidified just layers of revelation and some foundational truths for you. And it's like now that you've passed through the season of encounter with Jesus as the Lamb in that expression of himself, now he says it's a new season. And now this is, and I do see that you have a lion on your picture, but this is the year and this is the season for you to encounter him as the Lion of Judah who is roaring over you. And it is this new layer of revelation. And I see this new level of empowerment and protection. And it's like this boldness has just come upon you this year. And it's been like a quick change. And it's like it's come upon you. And I just see that it's, he's brought you so far forward from some of the disappointments of the past that had like kept you feeling stuck for so long. It's like he's pulled you so far out of their grip that you're now in this place where it's like the memory of them. I even see them like fading into the distance. And there is something about the unleashing and unlocking of your voice in this season. The roar of the lion, it is over you, but it is also coming through you. And so I just hear this like, Annie, roar, Annie, roar. This is time for you to roar like the Lion of Judah. And I just see it's like I saw you with the lamb and then I saw you with the lion, but now I'm just seeing you all fused together in one. And it's like you have the lion and the lamb on the inside of you. And I just see that God is sending you forth as this beautiful, beautiful representation of Christ to the world. And he has shown you so many different facets, and you've had to go through so many different things. And it's like the different, it's like your sphere of influence and the different types of people that you're able to connect with are so vastly different. And he's going to give you the wisdom to know who you need to show up as in these different interactions. And so it's like I see you knowing like, okay, this situation here that he's going to bring you in is requiring the gentleness of the lamb, the softness, the tenderness, and then other situations where you're just going to come in. I see you having a really sharp discernment, and in those moments you can discern the spirit and what's going on and know, okay, this is a season where I need to come full strength and release the lion that's on the inside of me. So I just bless you, Annie, to just continue to fully step in, fully step in and release. It's almost like I could see you. I feel like there's moments you might not be alone in the house right now, so maybe you can't like roar really loudly, but it's almost like I feel like there's activation points and moments. And even if you're like driving in your car, it's almost like you're going to be driving in areas and you're going to notice the shift in the atmosphere and shifts in the spirit realm. And it's like you're going to have this like urge that's going to like come up as you're almost like crossing territorial boundaries. And so you'll go from like being in perfect peace and this to like, oh, now I need to bring the lion out. And so it's actually a way that you war, like even as an intercessor, where that's what the lion is. It's, you're someone who is not just interceding and asking the Lord to change things, but you are releasing the sound that is shifting the atmosphere. So, Annie, I bless you to walk in that bold and courageous. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So good.
Dana is
Yeah.
highlighted to me. And in a similar vein to what you were just saying, I can see like you've been walking a tightrope for a period of time. And I feel that there's an invitation to do what seems completely uh, counter to what you might think,
Mhm.
that actually there is this ability God has given you to dance in and out of the tightrope, and you're not going to fall on either side. You're doing the impossible. You're kind of in and out of this kind of straight line that you have been walking on. It's almost like God is saying, I've designed you to live outside of the box. That's who I've created you to be. And it's all to just show and express exactly who I am, that God has called you to walk that impossibility, instead of the tight, what the only firm thing that would be there is that rope, that actually he's called you to walk on the air. And it's beautiful and you are glorious as you're doing it. You are doing it. You're already that. You are beautiful and you are glorious, Dana. And I see him protecting you like he's right behind you as you're kind of weaving and dancing. You're no longer on the tightrope and you're showing people that they too don't have to live in the box. They can live this wild and free life. And I just see and want to release this love over you. Love is coming and it's a wild and free love that's coming and resting on you in new and fresh ways in this season. And it's glorious. I feel like God's
Awesome.
like, you are glorious and you are beautiful, Dana. Glorious and beautiful. And just move. That's what I'm feeling. It's movement. It's a beautiful movement coming on you.
Oh, I love that. That's so good. I see all her crying face emojis too. I think that really touched her heart. She's saying thank you so much. That's so good. Dina from Florida. That's so beautiful. You know, and the prophetic words, they just sound so much more better, more beautiful with the British accent. Anybody agree with me? All my Canadian friends or Americans.
What is it about the accent that
All
does
right,
it?
Nadine. You know, there's something about the British accent, and I don't know, it just sounds so elegant, so eloquent, so like, you know,
Oh,
like your upper class kind of, you know. It's just something about it.
I'll straighten my crown.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you a little story. When I was I, I didn't know my Metron and I tried to be camp counselor at one point in my 20s. I'm not a camp counselor. But I remember having this 15-year-old girl in my cabin and she had a British accent. And I had a hard time even speaking correction to her when I needed to because I felt like the queen was like in my cabin. It was like
There.
she was adorable. I loved her.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, Jana, camp counselor. Haha. You guys, I mean, I don't know how many of you guys know me really well, but I'm not the camp counselor like type. I'm like, just be and go to bed. It's 11 o'clock, you know. That wasn't the fun. All right. Oh, Nadine Klopper. I did say your name. All right. So I'm going to prophesy over Nadine and then Rachel, if you have one more after that, and then I think we will wrap her up after that because this we're going longer than I expected, but we're about an hour. All right. Oh, and I love Tina saying I agree. Both Rachel and Sam have a very soft, soothing voice and beautiful accent.
Thanks, Tina.
Yes. Okay, Nadine is like, hurry up and prophesy over me. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, Nadine. Wow, I see a beautiful level of balance that the Lord is giving you in this season. And its ability to like ride through the ups and the downs and the turns and the waves and the things, you know, there's some things in your life that are um it's almost like you've wanted things to kind of settle into like a state of calmness, you know, who doesn't want things settled into a state of calmness? It's almost like it's been a time and it's like, when is this gonna finally settle? When is this gonna like rest and be in a place of like, you know, smooth sailing, so to speak. But I actually saw you like really just settling into the enjoyment of the like the rhythm of the waves and how things have not circumstantially settled around you. But I see this real deep settling that's happened on the inside of you. And it's like spiritually, it's like you found the center of your gravity and you're in this place where it's like you found your balance. And so it's like this internal posture that you have. And so it's like where previously it was kind of waiting for all these things to like settle down on the outside so that we could feel good. But it's like you're like, now you found this place and it's like this powerful place. It's this unshakability that you have. And it's you know, the Lord is saying like this year is going to continue to be like a roller coaster, but he doesn't mean that in like, you know, for those of you who are afraid of roller coasters, but it's a roller coaster that is of excitement and fun and ups and downs. But there is sometimes a sense of like, a little sense of like trepidation or like, oh no, like, when those roller coasters kind of drop. But it's like, I just saw you so anchored, Nadine, in just such an, and having this place where you're just so, it's like you can't be moved off your equilibrium. And so it's almost like the Lord is like making you ride the roller coaster because it's actually testing to you and revealing to you what he already knows is inside of you. And it's actually going to show you that you're made of some pretty good, some pretty powerful stuff. And it's actually going to be a time of unveiling and revealing to yourself. And I just see you kind of like, it's almost like you're looking at yourself with new eyes and this new amazement as you're just, it's like this unveiling of like who you are and how beautifully you are reflecting the image of Christ. And so just enjoy the ride and just know like I just hear him saying like you cannot fall. You cannot fall. And so there are ups and downs and there are waves and there are things that seem a little, but he says, I will not let you fall.
Mm.
And so enjoy the ride, step into courageous risk taking and keep ascending and going up because he has said to you, you cannot fall. Yeah.
Mm.
So go for it, Nadine. Yeah, go for it.
Mm. Beautiful. Hmm. Julianne, August, you're popping out at me. Hmm. Julian, you're someone who I can see has been dining out on the abundance of heaven. Like he has completely flooded your heart with a fresh sense of his presence on you in this time. And in one way, it has completely wowed you. And in other ways, you're like, wow, what is this at the same time? And I sense the Lord's delight over you and on you in this time. Where Holy Spirit winds come, like winds, we can look a little bit disheveled, but your roots, they go down so deep as you've been looking and just looking. I just kind of feel the weight of his glory on you and just the way that, how his Holy Spirit comes in and it will just, it blows you around, but just you're so rooted and just the power and oh man, so I'm getting so hung up on just the feeling that I've got right now that I'm trying to put into words. And maybe that's where you're at, is that actually you're experiencing so much in him in this time, and that it's hard to put into words, but there's just such a rooting that he's got for you in this time, even though the winds are blowing, and that
Mm.
I feel that he wants you to know that the winds are his love and he is shaping you. And even though the shaping that's happening, I keep using my hair, might not be what you expect, he is shaping you, his love is shaping you, and that you're so rooted. And the beauty in this time for you is that you're just simply feasting and enjoying him. And just to continue in that space of just feasting and enjoying him, like you have chosen the better thing, like Mary, and he is defending you in your choice of just choosing the better thing. There we go, that's it. He is defending you, he is your defender as you choose the better thing. And just the feasting on the abundance of his heavenly home. You're so at home with him. And yeah, it's just this beautiful feeling that I had for you.
Mm. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. I'm I'm gonna have to watch the replay because my internet has really been sketching out. Have you noticed on your end? Have I been freezing?
A couple of times,
Just
yeah.
a couple times. And I keep watching the live feed. Just I got you guys all in my hand right here, and I'm like, I don't know. I think it still looks good. But this has been so much fun. This
No,
this
thank
has been
you. Yeah,
fun, Rachel. Thank you
it
so
has. Thank you
much.
so much. Yeah, it's been great to be here with you guys
Yeah.
and hang out. Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And guys, I just release a blessing over you today. You know, oh, and I see Julianne is on there. I was wondering if she was still on. Yeah, delight, feasting, and enjoying. Yes, thank you, Rachel. This so resonates. Okay, so good. Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, I just released I want to just release a blessing of peace over you guys today. Just
Mm,
a peace. We're talking a little bit about roller coasters and waves and, just some of this. A lot of people are feeling the ups and downs, but just release just an impartation of peace. And just that these waves of peace would just come and just be released over you even as you're just sitting, as you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and as you get prepared to step into this new week, let this be just a week where you're just clothed in peace. There's
mm,
just buckets of peace that He's making available. This peace that it's like a weighty blanket and it's just wrapping. I can see some of you guys, He's wrapping it kind of like around your head. Like I see it like this. And it's actually covering up your ears even from where you've heard, some of the chaos and the voices and the things out here. But I just release peace to you as you go. And yeah, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. And I'm going to end this, but thanks again, Rachel. And it's been such an honor to have you here. All right, we'll see
absolutely.
you tomorrow, guys, for day 38.